Hey everybody, Crow back again with our pickups video. It's been about a little bit more than 2 months since the last pickup videos I've done, and I've picked up about 19 games since then. Well, 20 if you want to count one that I'm not going to count, only because I really haven't had a chance to play it. I'll get to it the next pickup video. But other than that, I have 19 games here. I figured, you know what, I don't really have anything to do today. Let's make a pickups video. So, here we are. We're just going to jump right into it. First game I'm going to talk about here, Splatoon 2. Picked up Splatoon 2. Actually, I had this pre-order. Now, I was the fence about this because I had Splatoon on the Wii U, and I played it for a little bit, and I kind of enjoyed it, kind of hated it, and it's the same thing with this one. This game is pretty much exactly the same. I kind of like it. I kind of hate it. I like the concept of it. My problem with it is that it is it's a third-person shooter of sorts, but you have to use a controller to use it, and I'm just terrible at using a controller in these types of games. I prefer a mouse and keyboard. That's what I've kind of always used. But beyond that, the thing I really don't like about this is, I mean, I like the single-player aspect of it, but when you get into the multiplayer aspect of it, I get frustrated at this because I always get thrown into rounds with people that are way higher level than me, and the way the leveling works is you can't even upgrade anything until you hit level 4. So up until the time you hit level 4, you're just getting your ass kicked left or right. I know that you could just kind of focus on spraying the ground or whatever, but it's always frustrating when somebody comes out of nowhere and you try to defend yourself and you just can't because you don't have the weapons. And then even when you can upgrade, you get past level 4 and you can buy bigger and better stuff. You're always in a match with somebody that's way more skilled, has got way better stuff than you. It's like the only game they play. That's what kind of frustrates me about games like this and other like first-person shooters. Is just that somebody like me that would only play these games kind of casually just can't, because somebody else who has played the game a lot more and is more experienced has better items, and you just have no chance against them. So I played it a while. If you see me stream, you see how frustrated I get playing this game. I don't know if I'll ever play this game again. I might consider just reselling this. I don't know, but my was at the Switch library. I don't know if I said this is for the Switch now that I think about it, because I just had to think about, oh wait, this is for the Switch. It's just going to be one of those games that sits on the shelf, I think, until, I don't know, something happens. I've never played any other mode other than the regular turf war because of the way, the salmon run has to be done a certain way. And you even have to be a certain level to do that. It's just weird the way they partitioned the game off. But the single player, you know what? I think the single player is okay. So I think that's the main reason I'm keeping that for now. Next, I'm going to talk about the other Switch game that I've gotten recently. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. This is a much better game. This is way more my speed. And I pre-ordered this. I got it. I don't know if they actually got it the day of release or a couple days after that. I did order this on Amazon. Get the discount, Prime membership discount. Same thing with Splatoon 2. I played this. I streamed it for about an hour. I really haven't played this too long because there's another game that is just taking up all my time. And it trumps everything else ever since I got it. So I haven't played. It is amazing how well they made the Mario universe and the Rabbids universe collide together. It is a really fun, the battles, the strategy, the turn-based strategy with the tile-based and everything, and shooting. That's all done very simply. It's very fun. I actually recommend this for almost anybody. And I think this is like one of the perfect games that you could play on the Switch in portable mode. I don't think that every game genre is perfect to be played portably. But this, since it is a turn-based strategy, I think this is like the perfect game to take the Switch on the go and play this. So yeah, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Thumbs up. Next up, let's move on to the Xbox One. I actually have had the Xbox One for a couple months already, and I don't have that many games for it. And I still don't have that many games for it, but I did get 2 more. And first up here, Rare Replay. This was one of the reasons I did want the Xbox One. It said 30 Rare games on here. Now again, a lot of them were ZX Spectrum games, and Yeah, I did say ZX Spectrum. I'm not saying ZX Spectrum because I know my alphabet from A to Z and not from A to Z. So I do say ZX Spectrum, and you can kill me if you'd like, but you can't because I'm just a video, and we'll move on from there. But I didn't grow up with those games, and I only found a handful of those ZX Spectrum games very interesting. Like 2 of them I would go back and play. The other ones I was like, I have no nostalgia for these games. Moving on. But the NES games, they're pretty fun. Nintendo 64, the Conker's Bad Fur Day, that was one of the reasons I want this. The Battletoads arcade game is on here. Actually, it's funny, the NES version of Battletoads is on here as well, and actually got past the speeder bike level. First time I've done that in a long time. I played that streaming all the games over 2 days. Well, most of the games. I didn't do all the games. I didn't play like Banjo-Kazooie. I mean, there's a lot of games in here that will take up a lot of time. Not just, there's games in here that I'll pick up and play, and then there's these super big adventure games, kind of like the Conker's Bad Fur Day and Banjo-Kazooie. It's not all the rare games, because obviously you wouldn't have... something like Diddy Kong Racing or Donkey Kong 64 in here. Obviously, those are Nintendo games. But there is Killer Instinct. I think it's the Nintendo 64 version of Killer Instinct, which arguably may not be the best version of Killer Instinct. I don't know why they didn't put the arcade version of Killer Instinct and Killer Instinct 2 on here. Maybe there's something they couldn't do with that. I don't know. Because the Battletoads arcade game is here, and it's the only arcade game in here. But other than that, this is a really good collection to have. If you have an Xbox One, this is one of those games you have to have. And now, I didn't mention this before, but now that I'm thinking about it, does anybody else think it's really odd that in these Xbox One cases, they put the disc on the opposite side of a normal DVD, Blu-ray, jewel case? Like every other case you could think of, when you open it, the disc would be here. But for the Xbox One, they decided to put the disc on the opposite side, and I have no idea why they decided to break from tradition to do that. It's also kind of odd too, because if you think about it, if you open it, it's like you're opening a book and you expect the disc to be there, but instead you're just moving the whole disc with the flap, because nobody really does that. They do that, so I don't know, just really odd to me. But yeah, Rare Replay, everybody's pretty much familiar with it. Everybody pretty much knows this is a must-have for the Xbox One. Now, I did pick up another Xbox One game fairly recently. I actually have had this for less than a week. I was at GameStop looking around, and they had a demo unit of the Xbox One. I saw this kid playing this game. Now, I didn't want to kick the kid off to play the game myself. The game looked really interesting. And when I found out what it was, and it was an Xbox exclusive, I think this is on the Xbox 360 as well, but I had to look it up. It was like $20 on Amazon. I was like, I don't know, I'll wait. Sure enough, I'm on Amazon. I just happened to accidentally run across it for like $11. Sold. That game is ScreamRide. This is a game that you barely hear anybody talking about. I've never heard anybody talking about ScreamRide on the Xbox One. I think this might have been a launch day game. I'm not 100% sure. But holy hell, this game is fun. This might be the most fun game I have on the Xbox One, excluding, Rare Replay, which is like a compilation of other games. But this game is a lot of fun. If I had to describe this game, think of it like a test track roller coaster combined with the kart scene from the Temple of Doom. You're basically in control of this coaster. I don't really remember what the whole situation was. I played this for quite a while. I played this for like maybe an hour or two. And I was having so much fun with this. I'm definitely going to come back to this. But they give you this cart. You're basically, controlling this roller coaster, trying to give them, the people in the cart the thrills and everything. And as you get during later levels, they make the track a little bit more difficult. You try to prevent the cart from flying off the track. They make it so you have to put the cart on certain, like 2 wheels in certain stages to get past obstacles, or because there's only 1 rail on the track, they've got jumps where you've got to hit the button to time it. They've got these, you get this boost and if you hit the timing right on these certain tracks, you gain boost, and that your total gets added up in the end. But what makes this game so much fun is that it rewards you for failing in a way, because you're kind of controlling this roller coaster around all these structures and whatnot. And if the coaster gets derailed, you kind of, in a sense, you get to see everybody fly off the coaster, which is great to begin with. But then you get to control the coaster, and depending on the stage, the coaster can do different things. It can extend its wings. It has boost that you can just activate while it's flying off the track, or it'll just explode. And your goal at that point, once the coaster gets derailed, is to cause as much destruction as possible. Destroy the buildings around you, destroy the environment, and you get points for that. This is great. And you know what? I never really felt like I was failing anything, even when I was failing the game. This is a spectacular game. I would also say that this is an Xbox One must-have, and certainly for $10 to $15, which seems to be the price point for this game right now. So highly, highly, highly recommend ScreamRide if you have an Xbox One. This is just an out there. Somebody mentioned when I was streaming that this seemed like some kind of oddball game that would have wound up on the PS2. And they are right. This is just an oddball game. It's something different for a change. And I would love to see a sequel to this someday. Let's move on to some PS4 stuff, because I've got plenty of PS4 stuff, because I always have plenty of PS4 stuff. Now, I did pick up Mega Man Legacy Collection, the original one, for the PlayStation 4. I'll get to why I bought it. I already had it on the 3DS, but I want to go ahead and buy it on the PS4 just so I had it on a console. This has Mega Man's 1 through 6, and I always wondered to myself, why Mega Man's 1 through 6? Because, yeah, those were the ones that were on the NES. I guess the classic, I don't know, trilogy times 2, I guess, that were on the NES. All classic games, well, some more classic than others. And I got it. I played a little bit, just try it out a little bit. Not really great at Mega Man games, but well, this had a couple things, interesting things in there, right? It had like a patch. It had, what was really interesting, I think, is this has got this card in here that tells you what weapon beats what robot. So if you needed a cheat sheet, they included it, and it's got that for all 6 games in there. So that was pretty nice of them to do, because people would just look that stuff up on the internet anyway these days. So yeah, it's got a whole bunch of extras in there. But the real reason I bought this, moving on to the next game, is because I wanted to get Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. And this kind of filled in the gap as to why only 1 through 6 were on here, because this includes 7, 8, 9, and 10. 6 is included in the original one. So I was wondering how they were going to do that. I wanted to get this one because, 7 for the Super Nintendo is an extremely expensive game to get for the Super Nintendo. It's only Mega Man game, not including the X series, that is on the Super Nintendo. And then it has Mega Man 8, which was one of the games I picked up at launch, the launch, so to speak, the day of release for the PlayStation. I thought it'd be interesting to have another copy of that. And then it has Mega Man's 9 and 10, which I think were only released digitally before. So finally, physical versions of Mega Man's 9 and 10, which were done in the old NES style. So just for that alone, 9 and 10, this is worth the pickups. And both games I got for under $20. I think on release this was $20. And again, with the pre-order with Amazon Prime, it winds up being something like $15 or $16, something like that. So how could you not really pick this up? Now, unfortunately, this doesn't have anything in it. It didn't come with any bonuses like the original one did. So I found that kind of disappointing. And I had to try out some of the other ones. Like Mega Man 8, I was like, well, would they include like the FMV animations, or were they going to take those out? And fortunately, the FMV animations are in the game. I think they did include everything that was originally in these games. It's great. Highly recommended, especially for under $20. I think this is $20 new. So how could you not? And I think this is on almost every single platform. I could be wrong, because I only really focused on the PlayStation 4 version, but I know that the original Mega Man Legacy Collection was on every console. But, you know, it came down in price, so I rebought it for PS4, just so I could have Mega Man's 1 through 10 on the PS4 in 2 collections. Moving on. I think I heard about this game through Radical Reggie, either that or Metal Jesus Rocks. Either that or Radical Reggie on Metal Jesus Rocks channel. I think they had mentioned this game, Ghostblade HD. Picked this up on Play Asia. This is the limited edition, which makes me wonder what limited stuff is in here, because I don't remember. But it is a shoot 'em up, and when I saw it was a shoot 'em up, I was like, yeah, I get that. I think you got 3 ships to choose from. You've got 2 different fire methods or something like that. It's been a while since I played it. So this actually includes a soundtrack, I believe. Does this whole thing pull out? I'm having trouble here. Yeah, so it's got the Ghostblade soundtrack collection, and then it's got a whole bunch of other art in here. Let's see what we got here. I didn't really care that much about this stuff, but this is really the only package they include this in. So there's some art here. There's a certification number. I guess they only made 3,000 of these. Like stickers. Like really, who's gonna take these stickers off and use them? Oops, and I dropped that one. And then something else from Play Asia. But yeah, just the fact that this is a shoot 'em up and it was limited a release, and I don't think it was that much either. Now that I think about it, I can't remember how much I paid, but I don't think it was more than $30. I really don't remember how much I paid. Hang on a second, I'm gonna look that up. I just looked it up. I did indeed pay $29.99 for this on Play Asia. The price didn't seem too bad, so I picked it up. Why not? Now we're getting to the game that I've been spending all my time playing, Everybody's Golf. This is what's been preventing me from playing the things like the Mario and Rabbids and everything. I like Hot Shots Golf, and Everybody's Golf is Hot Shots Golf. What's funny is that in every region this has a different name. I think in Japan it's something like Minano Golf or something, which translates to Everybody's Golf, which is actually what the series has always been called in Europe. It's always been called Everybody's Golf in Europe. But in North America, the game has always been called Hot Shots Golf. So with this 2017 version, they decided to make the name Universal, I guess. So here, finally, it's Universal Golf. That's a different game. Everybody's Golf. And yeah, you get really nothing inside, but it's a $40 game. And for as much as I've been playing it, I've been really getting my money out of it. Now, I did pre-order it. So I did get some DLC bonuses, like a golf cart and an extra costume or something like that. But what I really like, I mean, you've got the classic Hot Shots Golf system in there, the 3-point system. They didn't even try anything new. The only difference now is with putting. Putting used to be just 2 clicks, but now you have to do the 3rd click. And the whole 3rd click thing on putting, I've never really seen it veer off course, no matter how bad I've done. So either it really haven't screwed it up that much, or it really doesn't make that much of a difference to me. But you've got the whole thing that's different is that when you're playing tournaments offline to gain ranks and everything, there's like, it depending on like whether or not you're playing 9 holes or 18 holes, you can have 16 to 24 other computer control players playing golf on the course at the same time. So you and 4 other people would be like teeing up on one hole, golfing at the same time, while in the background you could see 4 other people golfing on another hole and 4 other people golfing there, and balls are just flying around like crazy. And I could see how that might drive some people crazy if you're trying to concentrate and just everybody's running around like crazy. But I kind of like it. And the nice thing is, though, when you go to putt or drive the ball yourself, when you start to, it kind of just makes everybody stop doing what they're, just freezes everybody. So you could just concentrate on your own shot. And then once you do your shot, everything resumes. And then what I also like about this is going online. You could go online, play open courses, and you could see everybody else that is on the same 9 holes that you are, because it kind of breaks it down between 9 holes and 9 holes. So you can only see 9 holes at a time on an entire map. But you can see, like, I've seen up to almost 50 people on 9 holes at one time, running around. You can see each of them. You can bump into them. You can kind of even try to talk to them, although I really haven't. And if anybody's tried to talk to me, I've kind of not really noticed. But I just think it's hilarious, and it's the same thing where you might be trying to like line up a drive or something like that, and somebody could be driving the golf course right down the middle of the fairway. I think that's awesome. And yes, you could either play the golf or you could run around the entire map. And the reason you'd want to run around the entire map is twofold. Is you might find some hidden coins, hidden golf balls, gems or whatever, just floating around the map, and you can search for them while playing online. And then there's fishing spots, because they did include fishing on this. Now, it is very simplistic fishing. I mean, if you've ever done fishing in Animal Crossing, it's just like a little bit more complicated than that. You pick your fishing spot, you hammer the button trying not to break the line, and that's pretty much it for fishing. But these are all abilities that you have to gain throughout the game. You can't just start the game and know how to fish. You gotta have to learn that. I won't get into that. Downsides to this. The DLC. Some of the DLC I think is unacceptable in a way. Not so much the fact that there's 2 courses for DLC, $7 each. I think that's fine. Not so much the extra golf carts that you can drive around in. That's supplementary. I don't think I care about that. But what I do care about is when you get ranked up high enough and you get your custom clubs, you have to earn gems or find gems to upgrade your clubs. And you have to find 10 gems to upgrade them, at least at the point where I am. Now you could just go on, through the store and physically use real money to buy these S tickets. And, 1 S ticket, here you go, upgrade my club. So you could just pay to upgrade your clubs really quickly if you've got the money. And I just think that that's kind of crappy that, people that are paying extra money are getting their stuff upgraded quicker than people that are actually playing the game. That is the thing that I'm against. To me, though, it's not enough to make me stop playing the game. I can't really ever see myself spending money for the S tickets, but I think it's kind of crappy that they actually exist. Now, what I'm kind of hoping for in the future is more caddies to be able to download. I don't care if I got to buy them, spend a little bit more money to buy them, because you do earn coins in the game, and you could earn, that you could do that to get certain things. But I could certainly see them adding more costume items or caddies. Because there's only 5 caddies, which doesn't seem like a whole lot of caddies. And that's another thing I forgot to mention. They've done away with the whole character selection thing. And you customize one central character, and that character kind of levels up with you. And when I say level up, your clubs level up in 4 different categories. So I've been playing this for almost a month. Like every day for a month, nearly. And my clubs are still leveling up. It's just, I could go on and on about this game, how much I like it, how much I enjoy it. But, if you've seen me stream it, you know how I feel about it. You know what it's about. You've been watching game footage of it. So, let's stop talking about this. I've been talking about this far too long. Buy this game. I really enjoy this game, unless you're just absolutely against golf games. This is a great one. And this actually might be my game of the year, if I'm going to be completely honest. This is the most satisfying fun I've had with a game. All right, let's move on. I got some limited run games here. First one here, Drive. A game I was kind of on the fence buying because it had some mediocre reviews. And I figured, what the hell, I'll buy it. And it was like $30. $25, $30, don't remember. I take a chance on it. It's okay. Nothing spectacular. It's something a little bit different. And it seems like it has the potential to be something better. But the whole concept of this game is that you're driving 2 or more cars at once on different tracks, on different levels. So, it's really hard to explain. But when you're driving one car, the computer is controlling the other cars on the other tracks. So you get yourself into a good position in one, and then you switch to the other, and then you try and get yourself into a good position there, and then you switch to the other, and you try to do that. There's these different game modes. The computer drives like crap, so you're always trying to switch and get your car into the best position. You can kind of see what position each car in each level is. It's kind of seems cool, but it seems like it could be better. I won't really talk about this a whole lot. It's just an interesting concept for a game. I can't fault it for being interesting. It definitely is interesting, but I think it loses something a little bit after you play it for a while. So that's Drive. Next up here, another limited run. Again, like I said, these are all limited runs until I say they're not limited runs. This is Rive. Look pretty interesting. It is a rogue-like, but you basically, okay, I was going to confuse this one with the next one, but I won't. I have to really think about this one because it's been a while since I played it, but you are in this mech machine. Holy crap, and you kind of run through these corridors and stuff. You learn different abilities. There's kind of a story to it. It's pretty interesting. There's some kind of puzzles to solve. You can get different weapons. Really, it's been a while since I've played this. Now, the game footage that I'm showing is probably explaining the game a lot better than I am right now. So, let's see, about the story. When the space scavenger Roughshot gets trapped on a mysterious starship, he has to form a surprising alliance. Don't care about the story? Just shoot the messenger. Literally, yes, you can do that. So yeah, okay, the other thing you could do is you could hack into different systems and find hacks, get those gun turrets, nurse drones, and irritable smash bots on your side, or kickstart and hitch a ride on a train on top of a bullet train. But yeah, I like how you can kind of shoot everywhere you want. This was one of those games where I saw it on limited run, and I'm like, oh, will I be interested in this game? I looked up game footage, like, oh yeah, I'll be interested in that. And then I got it, and the game didn't really play like the way I thought it would have, but it was still fun. It's kind of like a dual stick thing, where you can point and shoot in any direction you want, which is cool. Dual stick game where it's kind of also like almost like a platformer in a way. Rive, it's okay. Better than Drive. Next game here, limited run, Neurovoider. This says it's the limited edition. I don't know what's so limited. Oh, I guess it is from limited run games, so it is the limited edition. It's got a full color manual in here. This is another rogue light where you basically design what kind of machine you want, and then you run through the levels, destroying everything, picking up the stuff, and then at the end of every level, you can kind of rebuild and upgrade. What I like about this really is the weapons, because you can pick up weapons from other creatures and kind of use those weapons. You can switch back and forth between the two. You got to be careful not to overheat your guns and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just a matter of finding your taste in weapons and then trying to keep with that. Maybe you find something better. Maybe you want to swap it out. Once you swap it out, you don't lose it forever unless you sell those parts. But then you can sell those parts for upgrades, and you can just earn money. You can upgrade it. So you're just basically upgrading stuff, see as far as you could get, and when you die, you start over, kind of thing. Neurovoider. Next up, this is one of the more recent limited run games I got. N++. I had played. I don't remember what the first N game was. If it was just N or N+ or whatever. I remember kind of playing this game before. Maybe I was thinking of Exit. I don't know. But you basically control a stick man in this one. Now, I think this was meant for like multiplayer, but I didn't really play multiplayer. I think 4 people could play at the same time. But basically, the goal here in every level that I've played so far is to not only, you have to find the switch to the exit, open the exit, and then get to the exit. And then if you would like to, you get a bonus for collecting all the coins in the level. Now, I always try to collect the coins unless it's very, very difficult to do so. But I think it's really fun. It's a really fun platformer that relies a lot on momentum and the angle of your jumping in order to get anywhere. You can wall jump. You can't double jump, but you can wall jump. And like when you get a running jump, you really can jump far distances. Jumping on like an angled surface produces a different type of jump than jumping straight on a regular flat surface, that kind of thing. So it's a matter of figuring out the best way to jump through the levels. The graphics are very, very, very simplified, very, very tiny, but they're very well animated. And this is one of those games where I'm always amused when I fail as well, because the way your character explodes, and if there are like bombs and mines around, those will get set off too, and it could start a chain reaction throughout the whole entire level. It's just amusing to play. I did play this for a good hour the other day, and then I just stopped because I wanted to play some other stuff. But this is a good game, I think, to play in some bursts. I don't think this is the kind of game I could sit down and play for hours and hours and hours on end. I would need a definitely a break every now and again from something like this. But it is a good game. I do enjoy it, like a platformer of such like this. All right, moving on. We got Wonder Boy, the Dragon Trap. This is the limited edition of this. Now, I'm not going to go through what's in this box because I did do a whole separate video, a whole separate unboxing video for this. I'll put the link of the description below if you're interested in that. But this is actually a remake of Wonder Boy 3, the Dragon's Trap. You play as Wonder Boy, and in the beginning of the game, you get transformed into a dragon. And then you get transformed into another animal, and then as the game goes on, you keep getting transformed into these different creatures, each of which have different powers. It kind of reminded me a bit about Shantae in a way, because then you get to the point to where you can almost freely transform into whatever animal creature you want to. You can't do it whenever you want. You have to do it at a certain location. I did play this for quite a while until I got stuck. But what's really interesting about this is that you can play this in the modern style graphics, or you can switch back to the old school graphics, or the retro graphics, as it were. It could even do the same individually for the sound effects as well. Play with the old sound effects or the new sound effects. And some scenes, like the cutscenes, could be completely different from one another. It's great. I got stuck, and that's when I stopped. What's funny is now that I got stuck, when am I going to go back and play this? I don't know, but interesting game. Glad I picked it up. And again, if you want to see what's in the box, you've got to check out that other video. Next up, from Limited Run Games, it's another collector's edition, Night Trap. I did get the collector's edition of Night Trap. Again, I already did an unboxing of that in a separate video, so if you haven't seen that and you want to see that, description for that will be in below. So I'm just going to talk about the game here. The reason this came about is because they had the original footage, and I guess somebody came. I guess I'm not going to explain the whole story, but basically they had every single version of Night Trap that's come out before has cropped the video, had a very poor FMV, not the original quality. This game was originally meant to be on video cassette, if you can remember, VHS. And so what we get here is a game that is where the video is VHS quality, which is much better than anything we've gotten before. But what's funny is you could go and one of the things you could do is play one of the older layouts of the game. Now I've never really played Night Trap before, even though I've owned it 3 times before. I had it for the Sega CD, I had it for the Sega 32X, and I had it for the 3DO. And I never played any of those versions, and I actually currently don't have any of those versions. I sold them off some time ago. So I kind of wanted to get a copy of this so I could have it. And I played it. It's actually far simpler than I realized to play it. Now, it's the kind of game where if you've played it many times, you can play through the whole thing in no time and win every scenario. But if you've never played it, it's going to take it's the kind of game where you're going to have to play through it multiple times to understand what's going on. At first, it's kind of easy to understand how to trap the augers, I think they're called. But what I didn't realize is that at a certain point in time, there's these code changes. I had to have somebody explain to me. It's like, why the trap's not working anymore? It's like, because I didn't have the right code. In order to know the right code, you have to be watching the right scene at the time they mentioned the code change. So, of course, you're going to have to experiment with, flipping through different scenes to find the scene, unless you just look up a walkthrough. And that, to me, is looking up a walkthrough for Night Trap just seems quite wrong, because I think the whole point of the game is to figure it out yourself, which I have not quite figured out the whole thing. I did play it for an hour or so, just to get my, because I never played it, and I got used to it, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to figure this out. And I don't think it's the kind of thing you can really play while streaming either, because somebody's just bound to tell you. You're not going to be able to figure it out yourself, because it seems like everybody's played Night Trap and everybody knows the correct codes and everything. So if you're going to play this, don't stream it, don't look up walkthroughs, just play it. I don't know if I mentioned, yeah, I did mention that if you want to see what's in this box, there's another video I did an unboxing for, so look that up. But yeah, there's a whole add-ons and stuff to that. So this was a game that really needed to be re-released, I think. So yeah, that's Night Trap, and that's all the limited run games. For right now, I have a couple of Steam games that I did buy. 2 of them physical. 1 of them I bought digitally, so this will be like one of the first times I talk about a digital Steam game that I bought. So first of all, we'll talk about this one here. You should know what this is. This is Sonic Mania. I did do an unboxing of this, so I'm not going to talk about what's in the box. But what I will talk about is I did have a chance to play it, and I played it for, I don't know, an hour or 2. I'm not the biggest Sonic and the Hedgehog fan, but I did enjoy the games. I'm not a master at them. I've actually never beaten any of them. If you could believe that. I'm sure I could. I play them for a while and then I go to something else. Because I'm not, like I said, I'm not the biggest Sonic the Hedgehog fan. But I did play Sonic Mania. It was extremely fun to play. I did not beat it, but I did get many levels into it. But yeah, it's kind of like the perfect sequel to Sonic Hedgehog. Like it's amazing that something like that hasn't been made before. Like in the older style. This is like kind of what like Mario Maker is to the Mario series. Not like you could make levels in Sonic Mania, but this game is definitely going to rekindle interest in the older Sonic games. Again, it's fun. I haven't played a whole lot. Now, the reason I got the Steam version, I originally ordered the PS4 version, and then I found out that the Collector's Edition didn't actually include a physical copy of the game. So I'm like, how does that work? How do you have a Collector's Edition that doesn't have the game? Again, it has a download code, so that's why I switched to Steam, because I usually like to keep my digital purchases on Steam. Although, like I said earlier, I did buy a game digitally on PS4 recently, but that's going to be for the next pickups video. I haven't had a chance to play that game yet, but yeah, Sonic Mania, really enjoyed it. It's going to be like the perfect game, I think, when I take my laptop somewhere. And I was like, oh, let me play a game. I'll pop on Sonic Mania and play that for a little bit. That's like a great game to play on a laptop, I think. Let's move on. The next Steam game. This is from Indie Box. This is the Banner Saga. Now, I've had this for a while, and I will kind of open it up and show what the contents in here is right now. But I think for future Indie Box games that I get, I'll make a separate unboxing video for that. So this game is a... for the most part, it's another tile-based kind of turn-based strategy game where you walk around the map and your characters have different abilities. It's got some really great animation, really great. It kind of reminds me of like Hanna-Barbera, the way the characters look and the way they're animated. It's fantastic. I really got into it for a while. The game does have some flaws here and there. I think it was like previously recorded, had like mentioned all these flaws the game had. And I was like, oh, yeah, I could definitely see that. I understand that. Like, the fact that, you're granted these branching options, and it really doesn't matter what you select. It really didn't feel like it. I didn't know for sure, but yeah, they did that, and it did not feel that way. There's a little stone statue in here. I think I like it better when there's, like, one bigger object in these collector's edition rather than lots of little crap. But we got the stone statue of one of the characters or something. I don't even know who that is. And then you've got the DVD case, or the Blu-ray case as such. And then you've got the soundtrack in here. And then you've got a full page color manual. And, oh yeah, that's what came in it. So, yeah, Banner Saga. Really don't know if there's much more I could say about it. But, yeah, it's one of those things I would have probably never bought. But then getting it through the indie box, I did play it, and I enjoyed it. And then the last game I'm going to talk about was something I bought on Steam, which I will do in the future, but because I kind of slowed my buying on Steam to a crawl. And as such, there's only been one game I've bought digitally on Steam in the last couple months, and that's Roundabout, a game that's been out for quite a while. But what happened was Metal Jesus Rocks said that the game was available on PlayStation 4 for $3, and he thought it was an excellent game. And I thought, oh, PS4, I'm not going to buy it on PS4. And I wait a minute. Let's see if it's on Steam. And I looked up, sure enough, it's on Steam. Sure enough, it was on sale. Sure enough, it was $3. So I went ahead and bought it, because this game is like the irritating stick, where if you remember the game where the stick rotates around and you have to maneuver it through the mazes, except in this instance, it's kind of more surreal than that, because you play a limo driver that only knows how to spin the vehicle around to get anywhere. So you're kind of trying to maneuver. It's not like each level is a separate maze, but you're trying to maneuver this whole giant open world around all these cars and vehicles that are kind of driving around. And it's funny because there's people running around. If you kill the people, nobody even cares. Your limo, if you get enough damage, your limo blows up, but you just get kind of sent back to your last checkpoint, which is never really too far away. But even though that kind of gets tiring after a while, what made me play through the whole game, and I did play through the whole game while streaming, it took about 3 or 4 hours, between 3 and 4 hours to do it, were the cutscenes, because the game takes place in the 70s. All the acting is terrible. The main protagonist is silent throughout the whole thing. And the story is just, of the game, that as it proceeds, is just off the wall insane. And it's really for the cutscenes alone, I think, that... Again, the game is fun, but it's not 3 hours fun, I think. I think after a while it can get tiring. It kind of gets really easy after a while, especially with some of the power-ups you get. But for me, it was just getting from cutscene to cutscene after a while. I just needed to see it all. It was just fantastic how bad some of these cutscenes were. So yeah, with that, we'll end this video. Which, wow, I've been recording for 45 minutes. I was not expecting that. So, some of this stuff will get cut out. But I still see this video being about 40 minutes long. Holy crap, this was much longer than I was expecting. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. See y'all next time. Bye.